In a tale that perplexed and captivated a nation, the story of the balloon boy unfolds like a chapter from a surreal drama. In the autumn of 2009, the skies of Colorado became the stage for an extraordinary spectacle that would later unravel as a bizarre hoax. At the heart of this enigma was the Heene family, with a plot that defied logic and played upon the world's fears and fascinations. It began with a homemade helium balloon, silvery and saucer-shaped, soaring seemingly uncontrollably across the Colorado sky. The world watched, hearts in throats, as the news spread that young Falcon Heene, merely 6 years old, was purportedly trapped inside the runaway balloon. As the silvery orb danced with the wind, a sense of collective urgency gripped the public and authorities alike, sparking a frantic rescue operation. But as the balloon eventually landed, void of any passenger, questions began to surface. The plot thickened when Falcon, later found safe at home, unwittingly hinted at the truth in a moment of innocent candor. The world was aghast to learn that the entire escapade was a carefully orchestrated act, a desperate bid by the Heene family for notoriety and a potential reality TV contract. Thus, the Balloon Boy saga remains etched in public memory as a bizarre footnote in the annals of media history, a story of deception, the pursuit of fame, and the innocence of childhood caught in the crosshairs of an adult's misguided ambition. Embark with us on an exploration of this strange and twisting tale, a journey that delves into the depths of human cunning and the unpredictable realm of the bizarre. The initial launch. On that fateful October morning in 2009, the quiet suburbs of Fort Collins, Colorado, became the unsuspecting backdrop for an event that would soon grip the nation. The Heene family, already known in their community for their adventurous spirit and love for science, were gearing up for what appeared to be yet another one of their unconventional experiments. This experiment, however, was destined to be far from ordinary, marking the start of what would come to be known as the Balloon Boy saga. The focal point of this saga was a homemade helium balloon, ingeniously crafted by the family's patriarch, Richard Heene. A storm chaser and inventor by passion, Heene had a flair for the dramatic and an insatiable curiosity about the workings of nature and science. On this day, his inventive spirit manifested in the creation of a balloon that was no ordinary plaything. Designed to resemble a flying saucer, it was a marvel of backyard engineering, pieced together from mundane materials like aluminum foil, plastic tarps, and string. These simple components were transformed under Heene's hand into something that seemed to belong more to the realm of science fiction than to a suburban neighborhood. The Heenes had planned to test the balloon, not knowing that this test would escalate into an unprecedented media event. As they prepared for the launch, there was an air of excitement mixed with the usual familial chaos. The children, accustomed to their father's experiments, watched with anticipation, unaware of the drama that was about to unfold. When the balloon was finally released, it was a sight to behold. The silvery structure, reflecting the morning sun, began its ascent with a slow grace, climbing higher and higher into the Colorado sky. It was a moment of triumph for Richard Heene, a testament to his ingenuity and craftsmanship. But the triumph was short-lived. As the balloon rose, a shocking claim emerged. Young Falcon Heene, the youngest of the Heene children, was supposedly trapped inside. This claim turned the experiment into a potential tragedy in the blink of an eye. The Heene family, previously engrossed in the excitement of the launch, was now thrown into a state of panic. Richard and Mayumi Heene frantically called 911, their voices tinged with desperation as they reported their son missing, presumably aboard the runaway balloon. The news of a young boy trapped in a homemade balloon quickly captured the attention of local authorities and media. Emergency services were mobilized, with helicopters and ground teams dispatched to track and, if possible, rescue the young boy. The story also captured the imagination of the public, with neighbors and onlookers gathering, eyes skyward, as the balloon continued its unpredictable journey across the Colorado skies. As the balloon drifted further away, the tension escalated. Each passing minute was a minute in which young Falcon's fate hung in the balance. Television crews and news helicopters followed the balloon's path, broadcasting live images that were soon picked up by national news networks. Across the country, millions of viewers watched in real time, their concern growing with each gust of wind that carried the balloon further away. Meanwhile, at the Heene household and in the surrounding community, confusion and worry were rampant. Friends, neighbors, and strangers alike hoped for the safe return of Falcon, the young boy who, unbeknownst to them, was at the center of a narrative that would soon unravel to reveal a much more complex and deceptive truth. In those hours, as the balloon soared and the world watched, the stage was set for an unfolding drama that would raise numerous questions about truth, media sensationalism, and the extent to which individuals might go to capture the public's attention. The initial launch of the balloon, meant to be a simple experiment, had inadvertently launched a saga that would remain etched in the annals of media and pop culture history. The public response. News of the boy's perilous journey in the balloon spread like wildfire. Local news channels interrupted regular programming to broadcast live footage of the silver craft gliding ominously across the Colorado sky. The spectacle drew the attention of national and international media, turning a family experiment into a global concern. Viewers from all walks of life were glued to their screens, hearts in their mouths, as the balloon soared erratically at the mercy of the winds. The public response was immediate and intense. The story tapped into a deep well of collective fear and empathy. Parents imagined their own children in such peril, feeling a visceral connection to the Heene family's plight. Emergency services sprang into action, with the National Guard being called in, and helicopters dispatched in a desperate bid to track and possibly rescue the young boy. This response highlighted not just the efficiency of emergency services, but also the inherent human instinct to rally together in times of crisis. Social media platforms buzzed with minute-by-minute updates, speculations, and prayers for Falcon's safety. The hashtag Balloon Boy became a trending topic, symbolizing the grip this story had on the public's imagination. It was a surreal blend of fear, hope, and the bizarre unfolding live before millions of eyes. As the balloon journeyed for miles, crossing county lines, the tension only escalated. Would Falcon be found safe? How could such a tragedy unfold in broad daylight in the quiet town of Fort Collins? The nation watched, waited, and hoped for a safe resolution to what was quickly becoming one of the most bizarre and gripping stories of the decade. The Heene Family. Prior to the fateful day that would bring them under the intense scrutiny of the global media, the Heene family led a life that was anything but ordinary. Richard Heene, the patriarch, was a man driven by a boundless curiosity and a passion for science and adventure. His wife, Mayumi, supported his endeavors, often participating in the family's unconventional experiments and projects. Together, they were raising their 3 sons, Bradford, Rio, and Falcon, in an environment that encouraged creativity, exploration, and a touch of recklessness. Richard, with a background as a storm chaser, had an unquenchable thirst for the extreme. He often involved his family in storm-chasing expeditions, seeking to uncover the mysteries of tornadoes and other severe weather phenomena. These adventures were not just a hobby for the Heene family, they were a way of life, a pursuit that brought them closer as they shared in the adrenaline and excitement of each chase. The Heene's home was a testament to their unique lifestyle. It doubled as a laboratory, cluttered with gadgets, tools, and remnants of past projects. The children grew up amidst soldering irons, circuit boards, and various mechanical parts, learning hands-on about electronics, mechanics, and physics. This unconventional upbringing was a source of pride for the Heenes, who valued practical knowledge and experiential learning over traditional education. Their quest for adventure and recognition also led them to the world of reality television. The family had appeared on the show Wife Swap, not once but twice, showcasing their unique lifestyle to a national audience. On the show, the Heenes came across as eccentric yet endearing, a family that defied societal norms and lived life on their own terms. Richard's larger-than-life personality and his family's willingness to participate in his schemes made them memorable characters in the reality TV landscape. The Heene family's ambition for fame was evident. Richard harbored aspirations of having a family reality show, showcasing their storm-chasing adventures and scientific experiments. He believed that their unique family dynamic and unconventional pursuits would make for compelling television. This dream of stardom was a driving force behind many of the family's activities, pushing them to take bigger risks and conceive more dramatic projects. In the community, the Heenes were known as the family that did things a little differently. Neighbors and acquaintances often saw the children participating in experiments and helping with various projects around the house. The family was self-reliant, often preferring to build and create rather than purchase. This do-it-yourself ethos extended to their approach to education, with the children being homeschooled, receiving an education that was as unconventional as their lifestyle. Despite their eccentricities, the Heenes were, in many ways, just another family trying to carve out their own path in the world. They had their struggles and triumphs, their moments of joy and frustration. But underneath the facade of a happy, adventurous family lay the seeds of a plot that would eventually unravel their lives and expose the lengths they were willing to go for fame and recognition. The Unraveling. The unraveling began in the aftermath of the balloon's landing, a turning point where the initial wave of relief and confusion gave way to a deepening mystery. The discovery that Falcon Heene was not in the balloon raised immediate questions, shifting public concern to skepticism. As Falcon was found safe at home, ostensibly hiding in the attic, the story began to crumble under scrutiny. Initially, relief overshadowed doubts, but it wasn't long before inconsistencies in the Heene family's narrative started to surface. The first crack appeared during a series of media interviews. 6-year-old Falcon's unintentional revelation during a national television interview changed everything. The scene was a live interview with the Heene family on CNN, a platform intended by the parents to solidify their narrative and garner further public sympathy. The family, relieved at Falcon's safe return, appeared on camera to discuss the day's harrowing events. Falcon, unaware of the broader implications, sat beside his parents, the innocent face of a story that had captivated the nation. During the interview, a question directed at Falcon about why he did not respond to calls while he was believed to be in the balloon led to the inadvertent, yet seismic, revelation. Falcon, in his simplicity and honesty, stated, "You guys said we did this for the show." This statement, innocent yet damning, sent shockwaves through the audience and flipped the narrative on its head. It raised immediate suspicions about the authenticity of the entire incident and indicated the possibility of a premeditated hoax. The impact of Falcon's words cannot be overstated. It transformed public perception from one of empathy and concern to suspicion and disbelief. The media, which had been instrumental in sensationalizing the story, now began to question its validity. Social media erupted in a frenzy of analysis and speculation, with Falcon's statement replayed and scrutinized. The innocence of his comment contrasted starkly with the gravity of its implications. The revelation also posed significant ethical questions regarding the use of children in deceptive acts and their exposure to media. Falcon's role in the incident, albeit unwitting, highlighted the vulnerability of children used as pawns in adult schemes. It raised concerns about the psychological impact on Falcon and his siblings, who were thrust into a national controversy without their understanding or consent. The legal implications of Falcon's statement were profound. It served as a catalyst for a more rigorous investigation into the Heene family. Law enforcement, initially treating the case as a possible accident, now pursued it as a deliberate act of deception. Falcon's words, though spoken innocently, became a key piece of evidence in unraveling the hoax. The aftermath. The immediate backlash was intense, with public opinion swiftly turning against them. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office, initially sympathetic to the Heenes, began a more thorough investigation. They re-interviewed the family, dissecting their accounts and searching for discrepancies. Media outlets, once sympathetic, started to question the narrative they had so eagerly broadcasted. The spectacle of the balloon flight was now overshadowed by a growing narrative of deceit. As investigators delved deeper, they uncovered a preponderance of evidence suggesting the incident was a deliberate act. Examination of the balloon and the family's home, along with interviews with acquaintances and examination of the Heenes' past appearances on reality television, painted a picture of a family obsessed with fame. This desire for the spotlight, investigators theorized, had driven them to concoct an elaborate and dangerous hoax. The consequences. The legal proceedings against the Heenes were marked by intense public scrutiny and media coverage, reflecting the widespread interest and betrayal felt by the public. The Larimer County District Attorney's Office, cognizant of the case's high profile, pursued charges that underscored the seriousness of the Heenes' actions. The investigation was thorough, examining not just the events of the day, but also the family's history, motivations, and potential premeditations for the hoax. Richard Heene, the mastermind behind the hoax, faced the brunt of the legal consequences. Charged with a felony count of attempting to influence a public servant and several misdemeanor charges, his actions were scrutinized in the context of moral and legal boundaries. The prosecution argued that the hoax was not a mere prank, but a deliberate act to deceive public officials and gain media attention, thus misusing emergency services and endangering public safety. Mayumi Heene's role in the saga brought a different set of challenges. As an accomplice in the hoax, she faced potential charges that could lead to her deportation. Her confession, a key piece of evidence in the case, revealed the extent of the planning and the family's intentions. This confession, while incriminating, was also a point of contention. It was argued that it had been obtained under the threat of deportation, raising questions about its voluntariness and the complexities of legal coercion. The children's involvement, or rather their use in the hoax, brought about a significant ethical discussion. It raised questions about parental responsibility and the extent to which children should be shielded from their parents' actions. The Heenes' use of their children in the execution and perpetuation of the hoax was a critical aspect of the legal and public debate, highlighting the fine line between parental rights and child exploitation. The legal proceedings culminated in a plea bargain, a common outcome in high-profile cases. Richard Heene's eventual sentencing reflected a balance between punishment and acknowledgement of the broader consequences his family had already faced. His sentence included jail time, probation, and a ban on profiting from the hoax for a certain period. This latter condition was particularly significant as it directly addressed the motive behind the hoax, the pursuit of fame and monetary gain. Mayumi Heene's sentencing was more lenient, acknowledging her lesser role and the potential impact on the family, particularly the children. Her sentence included community service and a probation period. This outcome underscored the legal system's attempt to balance punishment with compassion, especially in cases involving family dynamics and minor children. The legal aftermath of the Balloon Boy saga had far-reaching implications. It sparked nationwide discussions on the ethics of reality television, the responsibility of parents towards their children, and the consequences of seeking fame at all costs. For the Heene family, the legal turbulence marked a dramatic shift in their lives. They faced not only legal sanctions, but also social ostracism and financial hardship. The children, innocently entangled in their parents' scheme, had to navigate a world that knew them primarily for a nationally televised deception. Join the conversation. Drop a comment to share your thoughts and insights. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating content. Thanks for tuning in to Really Unreal. Join us tomorrow as we cover the case of Jennifer Wilbanks, the runaway bride. What did the groom have to say? Stay curious, stay connected, stay with Really Unreal.